fire's roaring up the mountainside, and trees are exploding, and pine trees are going up in like split seconds. And we're protecting these houses up there. And you know, just fires, it's flying through the air all around you, and you're putting it out and trying to save these houses. And we ended up saving the houses. And that was, you don't even realize, at least I didn't even think once about being an inmate. Sitting in a cell with another guy that's just as messed up as you are, that's not gonna make anybody better. It's not.
The firefighting task forces that come in and fight all the fires eventually filter out as the fire dies down, but the work's not done. That's just the firefight. That's part of it. To the completion of the work is full containment of lines that are cut all the way around the fire. And the inmate crews, and there's a lot of them in California, are an integral part of that, and they're a big help for us because that's really, it's kind of the dirty work in a way, and the labor that ends up being part of the fire effort overall. And they're a huge part of our efforts.
The thing about wildland firefighting is that you get in situations where wind is a major factor in where the fire is going to travel. You can think you're in a safe place, you can think you're in a place where you're not in any danger, but I've experienced, you know, from just a moment's time change, the fire being, you know, on a completely opposite side of the canyon, to the wind shifting and being to the point where we're running for safety. There's moments like that I've experienced that makes me think twice about wanting to be out there because it's so dangerous.
Yeah, we're on multiple ranches out in the Fillmore area. We're also in Montecito, up above the houses in Montecito in the hills, trying to protect those structures also. For me, that's when it's the most satisfying, is when we actually get in there and we do structure protection. And you know, the flames are 80 feet high and it's roaring around you, and you get to do something that's meaningful, you know?
Like for the Thomas Fire, when the Thomas Fire was here, there was a lot of strike teams, and that population of feeding was anywhere from 900 to 1,300 people a day. I try to make sure that the food, you know, quality is not just standard, but, you know, better than average.
Our interaction with them is pretty limited, but when we come into camp, these guys that have earned an even better privilege of working in the camp now, they get to say something to us, and it's always, you know, hey, good morning, sir. Would you like some coffee? Yeah, thank you very much. They're always extremely polite. We acknowledge them and thank them for that, and so there's human interaction that is part of it as well. It's, you know, we're all part of the same world, and yes, they've made their mistakes, but these guys, they're valuable. They have use and they serve a purpose. I
got very blessed to be sent to CC-46. You know, I could be in the desert somewhere, you know, and I got very lucky. It was a cool series of events that led to getting me here, and it took a lot, but whatever God is was looking out for me. And it worked out perfect because it's the closest to my family. I get to see the ocean. I get to be out in my, you know, I get to go to Santa Barbara. I love it. That's what keeps me going with this, is that I get to go experience that. You know, probably once every couple of weeks, I get to see some porpoises swimming in the ocean. You know, that for me, when I see the ocean, that recharges me spiritually, definitely. Reminds me of, okay, you're here, make the best of it. That's what's waiting for you. And I don't ever want to leave that ever again. So I'm doing everything within my power to make sure I don't repeat these mistakes. This environment is based on false pride and ego, and there's no substance really to back it up. It's just a bunch of hoo-ah, you know, look at me, I'm the baddest thing ever. And there's nothing underneath it. It's just all fake and bravado. It can get to you sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, you know, it can get to me. And when it does start to get to me, you know, I get spiritual. I have my outlets. Because that way, you know, it's a way to I can healthily isolate. So it's not like I'm taking away from anything, but I'm also removing myself from the situation.
One of the, most powerful situations I've encountered was we've cut line, and we literally saved a, multi-million-dollar home by minutes. If our crew hadn't showed up when it did and gotten in there and we cut the line around the house, that house would have, gone up in flames, and the family that was there came out in tears and was just so grateful. And I mean, to see that and to be part of something, knowing that you're, save somebody's home. It's not just the material things, but a lot of people obviously have a lot of sentimental value of family things in their house that obviously, nobody wants to lose in a fire. And so knowing that we were there to help them, it was pretty amazing. If they did know, or if they didn't know that we were inmates, I feel like they just, came out with just pure and genuine hearts of just sincere gratitude and appreciation. And so, it did take me out of, for the moment of being an inmate. We, to them, were firefighters.
When they're up on that mountain, I think they all become one, yes, because fire doesn't see any color, doesn't see orange, doesn't see yellow, doesn't see green. It burns whatever it burns in sight.
One of the coolest things that I got to experience was after we're doing this work, we're part of the search and rescue, all these different things, where the community was making all these signs for us specifically. As an inmate, it's amazing to see when you got people lined up on overpasses holding signs out, saying things like, "Orange is the new hero," and stuff like that. That was really neat. That was neat because it reminds you that you're a human being. I try to forget about it as much as possible. It's the reality of my current situation, but it doesn't mean it has to define me. There's no reason it should define me. Whatever it is, I'm gonna throw myself into it 100%. When you're working hard and you're doing something that's making a difference, it's very easy to forget that, oh, woe is me. I'm not a victim, I put myself here. And I'm very aware of that. You just sort of shed all of this. You shed it off like it's just an extra skin, it's gone. And you're just there and it's pure.
The nature and the scenery that I've experienced through firefighting is not something I've ever experienced when I was out. I never took an opportunity or a chance to really enjoy how beautiful nature is and the creation that I believe God, designed for us, and the beauty that's out there. So when we actually do go out and we're, in the forest and we're surrounded by nothing but huge, tall timber, it's pretty cool. We've been able to experience that only because we were out there, working and fighting fires. And so that's something that definitely takes me out of the situation and the stale time that's here. So
it's just those times when you go work all day and you work for like 12 hours straight and you're absolutely exhausted and just physically you're just completely decimated, but you're up on the top of a mountain with some other gentlemen, and you worked as a team and you did a really good job and you did something that mattered. And those moments when you get to look out, like especially, in Big Sur, you're sitting right on PCH and you're looking out at the ocean, and it's just, for me, that's just serenity, completely serene. And you feel good about yourself, too. When I was going through school, I was afforded a very nice upbringing. I went to great schools, but I was under the influence a lot of the time. So I didn't really absorb as much as I would have liked to absorb. So I'm going back and rereading all the classics, Mom, all that kind of stuff. Dostoevsky especially, he was a mild philosopher, and he's got some great things in there, and he says stuff like, one that stands out is that hell must be the inability to love. About a month and a half ago, one of the, I have maybe 4 people I consider true friends. One of them overdosed and died. So a young lady, 26 years old, brilliant, beautiful, amazing, just had a lot of pain on the inside, and that's how she dealt with it. So that was hard, and thank gosh for the work, because if I'd been sitting around thinking about that, you know, it's very excruciating. So this provided me with a way to healthily, like, process, you know, and work through things. So thank goodness for the work.
I have a 13-year-old daughter who's dear to me, my best friend, and you know, I love her very much, and so I miss her a lot. I'd like to let my family know that I finally have made the changes in myself that have caused me to continue to relapse. Drugs and alcohol have been my downfall. That's why I'm here. Since I've been gone 2.5 years, and I've been sober 2.5 years. I'm very, you know, proud of that. And, you know, if I wouldn't have come here and I wouldn't have, you know, been away and separated from my family and had to go through all that pain, I probably wouldn't ever have changed. So in a way, I'm grateful that this has happened, because now I can move on, you know, with my life.
I have a young daughter, so I haven't seen her since she's 2.5 months old. But I'm gonna be out for her 4th birthday coming up. And being around these children trapped in adult bodies has prepared me. I don't think there's gonna be much that she's gonna be able to do that's gonna be able to get like too much of a rise out of me.
Is there anything you would like to say to your family and friends on the outside right now?
Thank you for never giving up on me and sticking by my side no matter what. And you have showed me what love is, and I can only hope that I even do it half as well as you have. Thank you. My name is Joseph Brendan Fernandez. I was on the initial attack strike team on the Thomas Fire. I was the drag spoon, which is the medical officer.